Hello there. I'm Scotty, and you're not. So, if you're watching this on the day that this video goes live, then it is my birthday. So happy birthday to me. I'm officially 35 years old on the day you are watching this when this comes out. It is Sunday the 20th. Should be. So, story time. The last 2 years I've had something to review. Happy birthday to me. Bloody birthday last year. Happy birthday to me was okay. Bloody birthday was alright. It's not as good as happy birthday to me. I'm trying to figure out what movie I'm going to do this year. Am I just going to skip it? I also had the idea to pick a movie that came out on my birthday. I'm going to start doing that starting next year. Movies that came out on my birthday, starting with the year I was born, and just sort of on or around. Because I know not every year is going to have February 20th, but, But, so I found this in the Walmart. It was in my last haul video. It's called My Bloody Birthday. And let me tell you something. So, usually when I'm watching a movie, I try to look it up on the internet, on my phone, look it up. So I pop this in, I start watching it, and I start looking it up. Every time I search, My Bloody Birthday, I get Bloody Birthday. I can't find anything on this. I decided to search on YouTube, and I found this YouTuber guy, which I'm still watching his video now, but I started watching his video. I didn't want to get any spoilers, but he said, he doesn't say, it's in his description or whatever it is, that it's actually called Clownery. So I searched that, and there's trailers. I guess he figured it out after he did his video, but it's actually, the alternate name is Clownery. It's from 2020, and if you search Clownery, you will find more information on this. But My Bloody Birthday, it's an Italian film, which I didn't realize that, but it's an Italian film, and it's sort of a throwback to the Giallo films of the 70s, like Lucio Fulci, or my personal favorite, Dario Argento. And with the music, it reminds me of Deep Red. It's not as good as Deep Red, but the music kind of reminds me of that. I think he was addressing this too, that this doesn't go that hard of an R when it comes to stuff. There's no nudity. The gore is very limited. There's some blood. Most of the kills you see in After Effects. There's a lot of cutaways. It just doesn't, work. And I think that's because the old Giallos were done back in the 70s and 80s when you could really let loose with stuff. Nowadays, I don't think you can do that. Especially if this is the direct-to-video release. I don't really think you can do something like that. But the story, oh my god. Okay, this is one of the most confusing stories. Because they don't finish telling the story. You start with this guy, right? Okay, so you start with a scene that cuts away, and then you don't see this guy for the rest of the film till the end, and you realize that he's connected. But it starts with this guy, and then it cuts to a flashback scene of our main character, Emma, when she was a kid. On her birthday, something happens, but before that can finish, it cuts, and then we don't find out what exactly happened till later, and it's through dialogue that she tells her friend towards the end of the film. It doesn't give us enough information to go on, and we're trying to figure out throughout the entire film why she's seeing these two clowns. Obviously, there are two clowns from her party, but why she's seeing them, what happened. You cannot cut away from giving us key information and expect us to know why there are these two clowns she's seeing. You could put kind of two and two together a little bit, but you need to have the full information. There was a certain point, though, I didn't figure out what was going on. It's oh, that's happening. Okay. But yeah, there's not enough blood. It does one of the most frustrating things when it comes to doing stuff like this. Sex scenes where people are fully clothed. If you're going to do that, just don't have a sex scene in your movie. It's a scene where her dad is in a hotel room with a hooker, and she's on top of him. She's fully clothed, he's fully clothed, and she's grinding on him, and it's like, no, nobody does that. And I hate it when movies do that. And especially for a giallo, when, you know, they're not that subdued, you know there's some kind of limits here. So, and overall, there was some stuff in it that was good. There was good music. As weird as it was, the clowns, I thought were pretty effective. Freaky, scary. But, and here's another thing. When it comes to Italian films, like, back in the day, they had the good sense to dub over, their actors. Here, they're all just speaking with Italian accents, and it threw me off when I started watching it, and they're speaking with accents. I'm like, it's sometimes kind of hard to understand what they're saying, and of course, because they're, English is not their first language, they don't always have that kind of speech pattern where it comes out sounding kind of different, so it's a little hard to understand. But overall, I thought this was okay. I am going to get into the plot. This is my overall summary. I thought it was okay, but it's not. When it comes to the 3 birthday-themed films that I've reviewed so far, Happy Birthday to Me is probably the best. But I don't know. So let's get into the plot. So we start off with this guy fucking a blow-up doll. Ain't no way to go around it. That's what it is. He's in there. You hear... Let me just say, there's a lot of repetitive sounds in this. I have ADHD. I have autism, ADD, that kind of stuff. I cannot handle when a sound is constantly repeated. Like, my son sometimes will be doing like... Wham! Oh. And just like weird noises, constant, tapping noises, stuff like that. There are a few times in this film where they just keep repeating the sound, and it got to me. And this is just stupid blowing up. It was like, what is that? What is that? And I realized he's blowing up a blow-up doll. I'm like, okay. And then you hear him moaning, and I'm like, is he? Yeah. And then he sees this clown mask in the fridge. And he goes out to his driveway, and there's someone standing there, and we cut. And then we go to... It gets weirder. We cut to this girl, Emma, her 10th birthday party, I think. Where her mom is sick. Her dad is throwing this birthday party for her. And someone who I thought was her brother, but from the conversation we have towards the end of the film, it's a friend. Has to be a friend. And there's these 2 clowns. Charlie and whatever the other one was. And so the dad, and he's recording this, of course, calls Charlie, the clown Charlie, into his room, holds the clown at gunpoint and says, "Jerk me off or I'll shoot you." And I'm just like, the fuck am I watching? We start with a guy fucking a blow-up doll, and now they got, what? Who wrote this shit? It's weird. It's a weird movie. I'm telling you right now. But the daughter, Emma, and the other clown come in, and it cuts just as we hear like a gunshot. And now we follow Emma, who is 21, so I'm guessing it's college that she's in, because she's in some kind of classroom, so I'm guessing it's college. She's now 21, so it's been 11 years, and she hasn't celebrated her birthday since then because of the trauma. Why would you? And so yeah. But her friend has decided to throw her a birthday party, and that's what starts these clowns coming back for her. And I like red. Give me a little red. I don't know. But yeah, and yeah, so party's gonna be thrown for her. And then all of a sudden, the clowns show up and start killing her friends. one by one, and then show up and kill her dad, who's the one in the hotel room, because her dad shows up to ask forgiveness, and she's like, and again, we don't know fully what happened at this point, and she's like, I cannot forgive you. What you did was so bad. What happened? And I'm like, what happened? You cut before you showed us what happened. Obviously, there was a gunshot. And I thought, because I thought that that kid was her brother, I thought her brother got caught in the gunshot. And so, or her friend, whatever, was shot. And that's why she's mad. But we find out later that that's the guy from the beginning. So, no. Well, we find out later. But she's seeing these two clowns, and they're the same clowns, even though they don't look like the same clowns, but I guess they are the same clowns. I guess so. But yeah, and people start dying. And then she shows up at her party. This is after her dad and the hooker get killed. And she shows up at her party frantically, oh my god, at her friend, and her arms are covered in blood, and I'm like, okay, she's doing this. She's killing, and we're saying that it's the clowns because that's what she's seeing in her head. And that's when it became obvious. But we still had a few more dots to connect as to what happened. So the friend, Allison, gives her the keys to this place that her dad owns but doesn't use. And it's way out in the country or whatever. So she goes there. But the clowns show up, and that's when I realized, okay, it has to be her in her head, and she's the one that's actually doing the killing, because how would they find her? So they show up, and they freak her out, but then Allison shows up, and this is where it's still weird. She's like, are you okay? She's like, yeah, I'm fine. And she's like, oh. And she starts talking about, I want to see these hot men in the mag. Or because she has like this isn't a book, but like a psychology book. Oh, you read this stuff? I'd rather look at a hot men in the magazine. And then she like runs her hand up Emma's leg, and I'm like, you just talk about hot men, and then you rub a woman's leg. It's confusing. But yeah, and so yeah, she's like, you have to get out of here. The clowns, they will find me. You have to leave. And then the clowns show up, and then we get the reveal that it's her. And they're telling her to kill her friend. She goes, I'm sorry. And she kills her. And then we cut to the friend, and I guess they're burying the bodies. Or it only seems like one body, though, but they're burying the bodies. And she tells her friend, this is where I realized it's her friend. She's like, okay, now you have to stab me. She's like, what? Yeah, you do that, and you can fuck my dead body. I'm like, thankfully, he says no. He's like, no, I don't know. I don't think so. I just do it for the money. Okay? And, so he hands her so she's like, okay, and she takes out the money, and she throws it, and he's like, she goes, you have to finish it first, but then she's like, I changed my mind, and she kills him, and so, yeah, I get rid of all the witnesses, I guess. But then it cuts, and she's in her room or whatever, and there's a bunch of clown stuff around now, and you see her putting makeup on there, turning herself into a clown, and then she talks with one of the clown's voices and then the other clown's voice, so they've taken over her mind. So I'm guessing it's never like 100% confirmed, but I'm guessing what happened was she suffered a psychotic break, and for years and years she kind of pushed it back. But the thought of having another birthday party made her crack. And so the personas of these two clowns have taken over her mind and caused her to kill all her friends because they wanted to throw a party for her and her dad to get revenge. And the friend, by the way, we find out was in the dad's wardrobe and saw everything happen, I guess. I don't think you needed to connect him to being there, but I guess, and that's where we see what happens, that he shot both of the clowns, the dad did. Okay. We don't find out if he ever went to jail. I'm assuming something happened, but you get life for shooting two clowns. I don't know. I don't know, but and I'm assuming the mom died of her sickness because she's not mentioned again. So, or not seen from again, I guess. I don't know. But, yeah, this was fine. Honestly, I don't even know what to give it. I'll give it a middle of the road because it was fine, but it's nothing I'll go back to. Like I said, if I have to pick one of the three that I've done for my birthday, it's gonna be Happy Birthday to Me. It's more enjoyable, but it was fine, middle of the road. So, what are your thoughts on My Bloody Birthday or The Clowning? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.